Hey, how we doing, boys and girls? Emotional resilience. What's that all about? Well, I've said this time and time again, the old Rocky quote, nothing hits you as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Well, life is tough. And I've looked at my life recently and I thought, there's some real arsehole people trying to be eloquent with my words who've done me so much wrong, so much damage, and I've felt so much revenge and hate, and it has just dragged me so down thinking about plotting, wasting all of that valuable time and creativity and how to exact my revenge. And guess what? When you live like that, you start what you focus on, you end up getting. You end up being a bit more nasty and thinking in a bad way, and guess what? Bad shit happens. So you want to do bad stuff to someone else who's hurt you, and your life gets a bit shitty. So I was thinking about there's no justice. There is no justice. I've had so many bad things happen to me, and I want justice, and I don't believe it exists. But I think what is bigger, and this is why I'm talking about emotional resilience today, because in the last year, I felt so different. I'm 44 years young, and as you get younger, your testosterone decreases, and you're not as stupid. You've had experiences in life, and you realise if you bang your head against the wall so many times, and you don't want to keep banging your head against the wall, you realise there's a better way to do things. And I'm learning there's a better way to do things, and that is not to have revengeful, hateful thoughts. It's hard to let go. And I just talked about justice, because I want justice. But when you can forgive, and let me add my mate Prash. I'm going to bring your camera, Prash. Prash to camera. And forgive. All right, you Prash, bring him on camera. Yeah, I can't get. There you are. Are you there, Prash?
I am indeed.
I'm just saying, Prash is my mate, for those you don't know, who we just ran a retreat in Krishna Valley in Hungary, and it was very enlightening, but we'll talk about that later. I'm just saying how I've had so much pain and misery in my life, and I've had such revengeful, violent, almost obsessive thoughts exacting my revenge. I'm going to be a bit nasty here, and I don't like talking like this, because your words are power. What you speak about and what you talk about, you can actually create magic. I thought about killing and torturing these people, and that's not me. And I think that is a human nature of us. When you get hurt done to you, you want to hurt other people. Let's look at the Palestinians and the Israelis. I'm not trying to make this. I should never really talk about religion and politics, but long story short, it's not just the Palestinians and Israelis. One side fights the other side, and they want to exact their revenge, and it keeps going backwards and forwards. And I was watching a video the other day. It was here on Facebook. A Ugandan woman who the atrocities that have happened in Uganda with all of the tribes. There's different kinds of tribal systems, and one of these women, she was about 50. She had all of her family killed, mutilated, cut up, and she was left to be drowned. And she actually forgave the perpetrator. And now, 15 years on, they're really good friends. And my point is there, you could get justice, right? But where she's forgiven this guy, I mean, that's a very Christian thing. I'm not being religious here. Where she's forgiven this evil warlord, that the country is doing better now, and the whole society. So forgiveness is a much more powerful tool. And I'm being very convoluted. This was about emotional resilience and rolling with the punches. And over the last year or so, I feel so different. I feel less vengeful. I still have, like, if someone cuts me up in a car, if someone's rude to me on the street, I get an instant millisecond of rage, and I'm okay. No, that's silly. I realise my patterns, And I think that's not going to serve me. And that's because I have grown. And I like to thank this is what the sort of things we've been doing on our retreats, Prash, trying to give people a greater understanding of life. And what's really important is like pushing to the front of the queue to be first, and upsetting 5 people in the process, really going to make your life better, you know. And because I believe in karma, or if you don't believe in karma, and just being a good guy, it comes back on you. If in my experience, it comes back on you. And all of this pain and suffering I've had, rather than like trying to get exact revenge, it's about moving on and being creative. And it's taken me so long to do that. That doesn't mean I'm not going to fight if someone's trying to do horrible things to me and my family. I'm going to fight, but I'm not doing it. I said this today at a meeting. I'm not doing this. Actually, I'll say where I went to church, and it's not that I don't even consider myself religious, but I do understand there's something. I do believe in a creator God, a supreme power. I do believe where I've been talking to my supreme God, creator power, I feel better. I don't feel the need now to go and exact my revenge. I feel a peace. I feel like I have a purpose again. And that peace is one of the most wonderful things to give me emotional resilience.
Let's touch on that. So emotional resilience. Emotional resilience.
Just drinking my green vegetable juice.
And you've got it. So I think a good insight that I think people can really relate to is the analogy of building muscle or building physical fitness requires exertion and practice to build that capability, to build that muscle, to build that level of fitness requires some exertion. And so similarly, emotional resilience is kind of like a muscle. You need to work it in order to develop and refine its capability, its capacity. There's 2 different things there. It's capability, its ability to be useful when you need it, and its capacity, how much it can handle. So again, it's kind of like in bodybuilding, you talk about type 1 and type 2 fast and slow twitch muscle fighters, right? And one kicks in when the other slows down. So it's kind of like that. You want to build capability and capacity in emotional resilience. And that kind of emotional resilience can be taught and learned in several different ways. One is through purely the school of hard knocks, right? You get bashed, you get attacked, you fall down, you get up, you fall down, you get up, right? So that's one way you can learn it, just getting smashed. But the downside of that way of learning, or only that way of learning, is of course the psychological impact and the mental impact that it has alongside what you're doing. But then there's another way where you can learn, which is through education, through learning, where you go into workshops, you attend retreats like the ones we run, or attend a seminar where you can start to learn tools and strategies.
Let me cut in there, Prash. Listen, I'm an ex-paratrooper. I've mixed with some really dangerous people. Babe, I'm doing a live. I need a bit of emotional resilience here because someone's making a lot of noise in the background. But I'm just gonna.
That's emotional resilience. Yeah.
Babe, could you please not be so noisy, young lady?
And that was a great emotional response. Alex, that was a great. What you did just right there, perfect example of an emotionally balanced response. You could have responded by saying, "Hey, can you shut the F up?"
No.
Or, "Hey, can you shut down? Can't you see?" Any word, any sentence that begins with "Can't you see I'm?" or "Can't you see that?"
Yeah.
It's emotionally loaded. What you did is you tactfully did it like, "Hey, do you mind just calming it down?"
And I was thinking this about relationships with my partner, with Nicola. We're great. We've had some, ups and downs like anybody does who's a human being. Different people have different levels of maturity at different times. I can be a idiot sometimes and then be an adult, and vice versa. But what we have is we've grown and we've grown together. And I look at why we work is we've grown together. We have matured, and we have had. Well, I've learned to be patient and to have that emotional resilience, rather than you fucking bitch, or and vice versa. It's not always been reciprocated. Sometimes Nikki will be really angry at me, and I will just, it's not so bad, it will pass. Is it such a big deal? Because naturally you want to, as a man, the people who can push your buttons the most, more than anyone, aren't the horrible people on the street. It's the people closest to you, the people you love. And when you can learn how to, all right, okay, I don't like that, that's a bit shitty, but it'll pass, and smile, and guess what? It starts to be reciprocated. Yeah, you get moments of tempers boiling, but what I've noticed, and our relationships get stronger and stronger, is we just had a tiz was 5 minutes before it came on the air. I don't know what I'd done. What had I done?
You did not like green juice.
Oh, I didn't like Nicola's green juice, which I'm eating now. And and I didn't. I'm not a man because I didn't help build the machine. And I'm like, that's a bit. Literally, that's a bit of a stab at my persona.
I fixed it on my own.
And anyway, I went over and I just gave her a cuddle and a smile, and it was all lovely. Now, if that was 2 years ago, I would have been fuck off, bitch, and like walk out. It wouldn't have lasted mega long, but there would have been uncomfortable, nasty feelings. And listen, we are here for so little time, and I value now every single moment, every single millisecond, to be able to create. Because now I realise we're in a magical place. I'm getting a bit hippie here, and I don't mind being a bit hippie. We are wizards. We can create anything if we think about it and perceive it enough. So I want to be giving this the most optimum chances to create powerful stuff. And me going around being angry, being miserable, that's not attracting the magic I can create with this magical thing. Sounds like I'm talking mumbo jumbo. And a lot of my friends who say to me, they said, God, you smoke too many drugs. And I'm like, and I have to have some emotional resilience there, because when you start to change and actually start to feel happier, and you go against the norm, some of the things that we do on our retreats, they're a bit weird and a bit freaky and a bit hippie, but actually when you put all that aside and think what it actually is, we do chanting on our retreats, and it makes you feel so wonderful and powerful and relaxed and calm. And I can explain it in scientific terms, but why I'm going on about that is because you just naturally feel happier. But
for sure,
when I first did it, I thought, look at these weird hippie idiots. Now I'm a weird hippie idiot.
hey, right, and I'm right there with you, right? So I think another lesson, and I'm mindful of the time, but another lesson that I think, which you nicely touched on, is part of emotional resilience is recognizing the triggers that are coming in from your outside environment and how to deal with them. And from your military background, you will obviously be no stranger to the idea of threat recognition, threat identification, and threat treatment. And so I'm using the analogy as threat detection, but really what we're doing is stimulus detection. We're looking at the stimuli that are coming in primarily through our ears or our eyes. Somebody gives you a gesture, right? Somebody cuts you up on the road and just gives you a little symbol or gives you a finger. Somebody says something to you like shut up, WAN, some word that you don't like, or your mother's like this. So in other words, the typical threats to our emotional stability come from our ears or our eyes. So recognizing that those are the two primary senses, obviously physical too. Somebody might push you, bump into you on the station and say, "You're right, what's your problem, mate?" Right? So any of these ways might trigger your emotions. Recognizing those three areas as avenues through which triggers will come is the first part in being able to start knowing how you can change your response. And that's where the power lies. And obviously we'll touch on this on the retreat.
Yeah.
Part of the whole purpose of this retreat is to build our mental and emotional fitness, as well as the physical fitness.
That. I mean, I was going to say, before Nicola interrupted me, the reason why I interrupted you was what you just said. I've gone through a lot of character building exercises, especially as a soldier, being in the press, being destroyed, and it either kills you or makes you stronger. So I naturally have resilience. But there's still, this, when I entered the media world, I was like a little kid. I didn't know what was going on. And who was my guide and the person I looked up to for security? My ex-wife, which I don't want to go there and talk about that, but why I'm talking about that was because I was a little boy, a little lamb to the slaughter. So it doesn't matter, all of the training in the world, you're going to be thrust in life into situations that you're out of your comfort zone and you don't have the emotional resilience, which is why it's good to have some backup plans, some tactics, some strategies. I went back to my training and I didn't deal with all of the trials and tribulations brilliantly, but thank goodness I'm not a casualty, which
Right.
there's this Mike Falassis who committed suicide. He was on Love Island because it's horrendous. I've lost 4 people, very close friends, to PTSD. And I understand in males my age, it's the highest suicide group. We don't complain. We look happy. We're all smiles. But you know what? Underneath, it could be turmoil. So unless you have that emotional resilience, that's why it's very essential that we learn these tools and strategies, which we will happen to be doing on
the 25th to the 27th of October, in a few weeks' time, in the heart of the Essex countryside. Beautiful village with a beautiful, old-fashioned, renovated, modernized country home is going to become our venue for a beautifully cozy, fun-filled retreat.
Do you know what I found about
nights.
Me and Prash just did a retreat in Hungary, and it was and it didn't go entirely to plan. It went a lot better. I was like, I mean, I didn't do anywhere near the amount of training that I planned to do. I wanted to do all this training, but people were loving the surprisingly the lessons that we were doing. We did yoga, we did meditation, we did a little bit of martial arts. We had conscious breathing, conscious hiking, and some workshops. Now, like I said, I didn't do. Although I'd planned these lessons, I didn't even do. I don't think I did one of my lessons to plan. But I was surprised at the things that the lessons that the students, the participants, were taking on board. I was like, well, I didn't think that they would find that useful, because the thing is, Prash, me and you live the kind of life that how we teach, and people day in day out, it's normal. But when it's so alien to so many different people. We've shown you a potentially better way to live life, to deal with stress. And I'm like, and I myself still picked up things. I was fascinated by seeing, actually, not myself, not you, but seeing our customers, the people on the retreat, how they were evolving. I thought, wow, this stuff really does work. because we live it and we see it. We don't really see it all the time in ourselves. But when you see it someone else, like getting an epiphany, an eureka light bulb. So guys, if you want an epiphany, a eureka light bulb moment, please come and join us. Send me your Prash message. It's from the 25th to the 27th. That's right, isn't it, Prash?
It is indeed, and it's 6 p.m. So Friday evening, 6 p.m. until Sunday, 6 p.m. 2 nights, 2 days. We have a really good balance and mix of fun, immersive, comfort zone stretching, educational, and down-to-earth stuff as well. So it's a real good mix. Robbie knows. Robbie's inside. Big shout to Robbie. Robbie,
Hey, Robbie.
By the way, I want to say big thanks for training me out there, getting my boxing and game up. And Robbie, thanks for punching me in the face a couple of times. Now that for me was really, psychologically thing, right? But
you remember the lesson
it built
I
my
gave you
emotional resilience.
about how to relax. You were tight. I was saying, and when I teach my martial arts, I almost do it very Mr. Miyagi like about.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the things I love about your teaching style. It's very unorthodox, and it gets into people's kind of conditioning, which is great.
Training the reptilian brain. I'm not going to go into that in great detail here, but we can all naturally fight. But you need to, the way you need to train to be, let's take it as a soldier. I'm going to wrap up in a second. Soldiers, you've got to do the most scary, horrible things. As much as you're still a human being, if you've got to go and kill a load of people, or jump and do a fight up a hill and with bombs going off, it's scary. You need to rely on your training, and you have to train again and again and again. If you do it highly stressed all the time, It's never going to go in.
No.
So the way to train the reptilian brain to be at the reptilian brain, imagine a lizard doesn't ever get scared. It doesn't worry about if it's got to pay the mortgage, what the missus has said to it. All it is eat or be eaten. So to get into that mindset, we need to train the reptilian brain very relaxed, again and again and again, very slow. There's old Tai Chi Kung Fu forms where they were trained to be extremely deadly, do it so slow. But then when it comes to it, they're really fast. So
really fast.
And so I'm going on, getting all technical, but I'm going to be doing some of this sort of stuff. Look at this. I think of Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off.
Yeah, for sure. I think
he's polishing, but it's actually becoming. We're training our motor neuron systems, to developing new neurons, pathways. Yeah, and it's like a form of meditation in itself. So we're going to do a bit of martial arts, but you're going to be doing a lot of meditation without even realizing it.
And that's going to be part of the beauty of it, folks. We have a wonderful structure lined up for those 2 days. It's going to be a nice balance so that you're immersed, you're learning, you're improving, and you're making breakthroughs. Like Alex says, sometimes without even realizing you're making breakthroughs. Because pennies drop, seeds are planted, and those pennies drop. Penny Lane's on the call, by the way. Hey, Penny Lane. These seeds will drop afterwards. The point here is you need to be sufficiently convinced that you deserve this. If you're the kind of person who's out there helping other people, if you're the kind of person who sometimes let yourself down, if you feel there's a part of you that feels like I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this, I'm never going to be enough, this is what you need to start doing for yourself in your life. You need to start recognizing that you are the source of all your successes or failures. And once you start to take control, and some of the tactics and tools that we'll teach over the weekend are helping to bring that mind, bringing those emotions, bring our behaviors into alignment. Because when those three are aligned, and then our physicality improves, that's where the magic happens. We're not trying to solve all your problems in one weekend. Let's not get this wrong. And Alex, you've been very emphatic about this. What we are going to do is to give you the momentum and build that catalyst to start helping to make positive shifts. And we're going to do it with great style, with great food, good company, some great movies at night to watch.
Anyone who knows my personality, I'm not a serious guy, although I can be very, very serious and very deep in a millisecond. But we're fun. It's about having fun, having that Peter Pan mindset.
Fun, for sure.
And me and Prash, we've got quite a really great working dynamic, and it is a fun Peter Pan mindset. But we can be a little bit cheeky, but it's very serious when we need to be. I just want to finish off with the last retreat we did, and I mean, this sounds like I'm bigging us up, but the results we had with Danny. Wow, Danny, who was I don't want to go into anybody's. One of the guys, one of my friends, and he came along. I'm not going to go into great detail because it's private for him, but the transformation was remarkable, and to this day he's changed his life. And that to me, I'm smiling now. I just feel happy about that because he was sad. He's sad, and it's like, yeah, it just makes me feel good, you know. So
it really was. I think Danny, Robbie, Dina, who are on this call, big shout out to Robbie, Dina. Thank you guys. You guys made this an amazing retreat, and I can just say that. Well, I think having all of you, some of you who are joining this call, make the trip down in the next few weeks for that weekend. Invest in yourself. Naturally, we've priced it very keenly. The prices have been kept really affordable. Comparing to pretty much everything out there. Our ethos from the beginning has been to keep them affordable, accessible, and manageable for most people. So we'd love to have you. Just shout us a line. We'll put the link inside here so you'll get details of where to go. But it's the 25th to the 27th in Essex. And there's all facilities will be provided. Your accommodation, your food, we're covering it all, your activities. You just need to bring yourself for a couple of days. We'll have some great mix of yoga, meditation, martial arts, the art of fighting without fighting, emotional, mental, physical fitness.
How to
all
roll
kinds.
With the punches emotionally.
Roll with the punches. And I want to just leave with this. I want to leave with one practical exercise. Imagine, so I've got a piece of paper in my hand here, right? I want to offer this to you as an idea. to build emotional resilience, but in a specific area, in the area of you speaking too quickly or harshly because somebody said or did something that pressed the wrong buttons, and you feel like, how dare you, or you're about to say something that could cause harm or result in an escalation of emotions. I want to show you a little fail-safe mechanism. Imagine you had a piece of paper planted firmly between your lips, and this piece of paper had a small grenade on the end of it, that if you drop this piece of paper, that grenade goes and kaboom, an explosion begins, fireworks start. Imagine holding that paper perfectly right here. The next time you feel that somebody's pressing your buttons the wrong way and you're about to respond or say something that you don't mean, imagine a piece of paper between you. Before you respond, imagine that piece of paper with a grenade planted on top, and you've got to hold it perfectly for at least 20 seconds. Just holding it for 10 to 15 seconds, keeping those lips closed with that imaginary piece of paper can work wonders and save all kinds of problems and explosions.
That is such a powerful tool. And I'm finished with this. We all get our buttons pushed in business all the time by our loved ones, especially in business. Someone says something shitty and you want, shut up, keep quiet, think. And if you're upset, never respond if it's email or stuff, a text message. Sleep on it. Give it an hour. Think about it. Write out what you're going to say, but don't send it. And then look at it an hour later. Keep the paper in your mouth, because that you have got explosions in that writing. That is the most
right there.
It is explosions. With that, we'll bid you adieu. Adios, amigo. See you in the next day or so, guys. Come and join us.
Hasta la vista.